baby. Welcome to the Practical Pistol Show. My name is Ben Steger. I'm here to answer your shooting questions. Today we have ninth place sharpshooter Tim Myers from Austin.
Howdy.
Yes, Kansas City, Tim Herron.
Hey, what's up?
From Kansas City also, Grandmaster Matt. You had yourself muted, Matt. Try
What's
it again.
up?
There you go. Now you get to say hi. All right, so some interesting conversation has started up on the, as usual, got teed up on the Area 6 page. And I think it's worth talking about because it's something that it doesn't really get discussed a whole lot, and I think it makes sense as a sport to be having a conversation about this. So a guy posts, so a serious question for shooters that hopefully won't devolve into a flame war covering all the drama of late. And I just want to say, I was really disappointed that it didn't turn into a fucking flame war, but whatever. There seem to be a number of people that don't like or are positively hostile towards for-profit matches. I don't understand this dislike and would like to hear what the rationale is. For me, personally, a match is a match is a match when I choose to leave the air-conditioned or heated stat shack, and ultimately where the money goes is of little concern to me as long as I get value for my money. So all of you guys, I would imagine, feel the same way about for-profit matches, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So all of you guys are fine with for-profit matches.
Yeah, I have no issue with them.
Ditto.
Ditto. Nobody has a problem with for-profit matches.
No.
Have you guys ever encountered hostility towards for-profit matches?
I haven't. I don't know of any matches. Well, actually,
Go ahead, Hopkins. Have you encountered any hostility towards for-profit matches?
I've heard rumblings of, like, you're at this match and some dude talks about adding all the entry fees up, and they're like, where'd all this money go? Everybody's heard that probably at least at some matches, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Do I have a problem with that? What's it where do I come in where I have an opinion on that? Like,
Well, you can have an opinion on it.
yeah, but I don't know. How's it make it right or whatever?
Make your opinion right?
Yeah, no, what gives you the right to have an opinion on what, if the dude makes money or not, or the person putting the match on?
It's your money and your time, and you're going to the match. That's why you can have an opinion, I think.
Yeah,
But if
did you
the
go
match
to
is-
match?
Yeah, but at the same time, if the match is well run and everything's administered well and the stages are great, what does it matter? Like where the money went, right? I mean, would
That's
you or
kinda
would you
what I was
not?
getting at, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So I agree with you guys wholeheartedly. I don't give a shit if it's a for-profit match. Actually, I think in the long run, I would prefer to see more for-profit matches. At a similar price point to what we've got, which I think is reasonable. I'd like to see more of it. We could talk about why that is later. But as this conversation online went on, nobody really had a problem with for-profit matches. I mean, not really. I mean, there just weren't many issues discussed with it, which I thought was interesting. One guy posted the rationale for why for-profit matches are a bad idea, even though he personally didn't agree with it. And here's what he said. USPSA as a whole is a non-profit organization. The organization as a whole is run under these auspices since its inception. The idea was never to turn the shooting sports into a profit center, but rather a vehicle to promote the development of skills and a good time. The cost of gear and ammunition is already high. To turn the sport into a race to make money would detract from the core tenets of the sport and would alienate a large number of people. For the last 5 years, I've helped run a small local match. I've always paid my match fees despite being there early and leaving late and entering scores, etc. For me, it's about being a steward of our sport, not about making a buck. My thoughts are the more people, the merrier, and the more people involved with the shooting sports, the better off we all are. So that's what he's saying. Any reaction to that, Hopkins? Why for-profit's a bad idea?
I still don't understand it. Yeah, I mean, everybody that's out there shooting has guns and ammo and the same cost, pretty much, all the same, right? Does that detract then from the dude that's going to be out there for probably double the time, a guy that just shows up and shoots and leaves? And shouldn't he have some incentive to be there and do that?
Well, what I don't understand, and maybe you could help me out with this, is why somebody would feel like a guy making money detracts from the other cool shit in the sport.
I don't see where it does.
I don't see how it's affected at all.
so this is good. So none of you guys, you're not seeing it, and this is how it went online. There's just not really anybody persuasively saying why for-profit is bad. Okay, one issue that came up, which I thought was really interesting, was the idea of disclosure. So having a match that's for-profit and kind of flying the flag, saying, "Hey, yeah, we're doing this to make money," versus having a match that is for-profit, but they're not telling you that. Do you guys think that's an issue? Tim Herron.
I can't really think it. I still don't. I still don't think it's an issue. I don't see how it can be an issue.
Well, if you guys talked about it like this, so let's say you sign up to go work a major match.
Okay.
So you aren't going to be a Grandmaster Tim for that weekend. You're going to be Range Officer Tim.
Okay.
For like 2 days. Let's say you shoot on Friday. You shoot the match for free or whatever, and you work for 2 days. Would it upset you at all to learn that the match director or whatever made $5,000 or $10,000 off that match? Let's say it's a big match, a big successful match. Do you care?
No, I don't guess I would personally. I mean, the match directors.
That was the kind of scenario that a few guys sketched out. They're like, "Oh, well, I have a problem with that."
How
if I'm there volunteering.
The guy that's the match director, though, has been out there like from sun up to sundown for weeks on end. And typically, the match director is also, in a lot of respects, is the guy that also is the one setting up stages. He's also the one administering all the registration and everything else. I mean, I don't know. I don't see why that's an issue.
I could see why a range officer out there volunteering his time would have that issue.
Would you have that issue, though?
Would I have that issue? If it was made clear to me, like, before.
No, it's not made clear. It's not made clear.
I could see where there is an issue there. Yeah.
Well,
like,
what would
you're
the
out there
issue
volunteering your time? You're not getting paid or anything. Yeah, you agreed to do it. You'll probably get in the match for free, maybe hotels or something like that. Maybe a little stipend on the end or whatever. I could see where that could be an issue. Definitely. Like, I would have a.
What would the issue be?
He's getting free help and then he's making all this money off of it.
Yes.
That would be the issue for me.
But what is the okay? That's what he's doing. Why do you care?
Because it would be my time out there.
But your time was also comped by being able to shoot the match for free, just like you would at any other match.
Yeah, but it still doesn't change the fact that he's making money off of it.
So now we've run into a situation where you're offended by something, or you don't like it. But I'm just asking you why.
Oh, yeah.
So you don't like it. I get that, but why?
Why should I be out there volunteering my time when he could split the profits with me? I mean, to be honest with you, if you're out there working and helping do the match, you should get something for it.
You got the match for free.
That's not worth it to me then.
And lunch, hotel cost, everything else was paid for.
It's not worth it to me then. It might be worth it to other people.
So what would you have to get paid? You'd have to get paid like, I don't know, a couple $100 a day?
That sounds fair.
All
That's a
right.
good number.
Tim Myers, our number cruncher. What do you think that would cost to put on a match like that, where you pay the range officers, like Hopkins is talking about?
Lord, I have no clue.
It's not happening, right?
No way.
Do you give any shits at all about a stealth for-profit match, Myers?
I do not care.
Even if you're out there our own?
You're out there ROing. You're out there busting.
No, I don't care.
Busting your little hump.
Well, like you guys talked about the World Shoot, right? That was $500 a head, and there was no prize table. Did you care?
No, I didn't give a fuck.
I mean, yeah. So
I'll tell you what. There was one. The thing that irritated me, and talking to quite a few of the foreign shooters that left a real bad taste in their mouth was having the parking thing sprung on them after the fact.
Well, wasn't there a high fee for storage, like gun storage or ammo storage as well?
Yeah, there was a lot of high fees, and that's the sort of stuff that sort of stuff leaves a bad taste in people's mouth, whether it's right or wrong, you know. So if there's a bid for the match goes out, and they're like, hey, the match fee is going to be $500, and then it's like, oh, but if you want to park a car, then it'll be $550. It's like at the time the bid was submitted, they knew that they should have known that they needed parking or whatever. So that stuff irritated people.
The whole issue, one of the biggest irritations I have at this point is if a match provides water or not.
Yeah, that's nice.
If you're making a for-profit match, you can spend a G on water and have bottles of water for fucking ever. You'd have more water than you can think of. And to provide that for shooters is a huge, huge benefit, I think. I think it should be mandatory at all matches at this point.
To provide water?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's not. I mean, I like water. Okay.
So, dude, just think how much easier it is. You don't have to lug around a cooler. You can take a couple drinks
Hopkins. Let's be honest with the listeners. You're a GM. You've been one for a while. You don't carry your own cooler. Come on.
No way. He just takes my wagon, man. He put his shit in my wagon.
Now.
He did. He's like, hey, you got that little cooler? I'm going to put my big-ass cooler in your wagon. Tote that around all day. Thanks, bro.
And I gave him my ammo to carry, too. So it was,
thanks, bro.
Two out of two matches this year.
He didn't bring that wagon to not use it.
No shit.
True.
The thing would have been empty if it didn't have my cooler in it.
All right. Whatever. So what you're hitting on, Hopkins, is the next thing I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
Which is, if the matches are for profit, you could raise the expectations, right?
I think if they're for profit, I think expectations would be raised no matter what.
Okay, so here's a scenario. Around whatever, and it's fucking terrible. They're not following the rules. The stages are totally uninteresting. Whatever. The match sucks nuts.
Yeah.
As a hypothetical. You voice your concerns to the match director, both tactfully and privately. And the response you get from the match director is, hey man, if you want the match to be better, then you need to volunteer and help, or just quit bitching. All right? That's a pretty common response you're going to get, right?
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
All right. So if the match is for profit, would that change that dynamic some? So let's say it's a club match where the match director just pockets half the cash. Like they build all the stages themselves, people come and pay the match fee, and the match director pockets half of it, and the other half stays with the club and pays for the classifier fees and all that shit. How would you feel about complaining then? Hopkins.
If it was that bad, I wouldn't go to it.
What's that?
If it was that bad of a match, I wouldn't go to it.
Okay, well, let's say it was that bad and it was for profit, and then would you have a problem saying something to the match director?
No. I'm a paying customer at that point.
Yeah, so it kind of it changes the dynamic.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
expectations would be a little higher on that, too.
Yeah, so...
right, kind of takes the volunteerism out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Know. Yeah, I mean, that's a common deflection tactic that you see really commonly online, and I think it's legitimate sometimes, and it's really not legitimate other times. Like if I go to a match and they don't follow the rules, and I say in a polite way that like, hey, we gotta, like that's not the way this works or whatever, and then if it's like, if you want to do it, you gotta do it yourself, and it's like, oh my god, fuck you. And if you go to a club match and you're complaining like, hey, there really should be water for everyone at this club match, then the match director could be like, yeah, fuck you. If you want to do that, just bring the water yourself and bring enough to share. Right? That's not always a legitimate thing to say, in my opinion, but whatever.
Right.
We're getting off track. So, would you say for-profit matches would be better, guys? Go to Tim Herron.
I think if it's going to be a for-profit, then yeah. To me, I think that attention to detail should probably be.
Is it better to have the match director making money? Would that be your preference?
Honestly, I don't know. I don't think it would. I really don't have a preference either way.
Wouldn't it be? Well, I mean, if you feel like it could raise your expectations for what the match is.
As a for-profit match, yeah. I mean, yeah. If it's somehow going to improve the dynamic of the entire match, whether it's something as simple as water provided or things like that. Yeah,
Let's say water provided, and then you can you are free to give the match director feedback on what you thought of the stages. You're like, hey man, it was a little hosey this month or whatever. Let's change that up or something like that. That's okay.
I don't see a problem with it. No.
I don't think it would raise the cost of the match much, or if at all. It would just
Truthfully, I think we shoot too cheap.
Money would just money would be.
We shoot what?
I think stuff is way too cheap right now.
Well, why? Whoa, what's too cheap about it?
The entry fees and stuff.
What's the standard? Like, what do you mean too cheap? What's the standard down where you live?
Like $15 a match.
Well, why is that too cheap?
I think for what we get, we should be paying more. We could be paying more. I wouldn't have a problem with it, honestly.
Well, yeah, you could be paying more, but
speak for yourself. I kind of dig $10 and $15 a match fees for a.
Well, no, right now, if you guys have like a volunteer structure, not for profit, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So why the fuck would it be more than 15?
I don't know. I could see it where it would be raised, and I'd be fine with that.
Oh my god, I love it. Hey Myers, what are the club matches there? What do they cost?
I think it's like $20 for non-members and 15 for members. I could see a benefit for us where if you had paid setup crews, because that's kind of one of the problems that we have. It gets so hot during the summer that we set up the morning of the match, so the matches start kind of late. I think people would happily pay more money if they could just roll in, hammer down at 9 a.m. and I think they'd probably happily pay more money. So really, I support it. But
how many members do you have, or that shoot your matches?
It's weather dependent, like everybody else. I mean, it could be 70 shooters. I mean,
and what's like the floor? Like if you actually hold the match, there's going to be at least like 40 there or something.
Yeah, usually at least 40. Yeah.
So it's not really out of the question to have a paid setup crew sort of situation, is it?
No, I mean, we could afford it right now, but I mean, in my mind, just charge an extra $5 a head and pay some dudes to set up the day before, and I mean, I would do it. I'd happily pay for it. That's just.
How do you think that would go over?
I've proposed this before, and I've gotten mixed bag.
Well, it's interesting. So what are the people saying who don't like it? Well, they're like, no, I love setting up stages. Like.
No, they just don't want to pay the extra money. I mean, some people are just opposed to paying extra money. Other people think that they've convinced themselves that it won't work, and that's mainly, in my opinion, people who have been doing it a long time. Maybe somebody tried it, 10 years ago and it didn't work out, so they're like, well, it didn't work 10 years ago, it won't work now, right? So that's kind of that's what I get. They're like, well,
that's my take on it too, actually.
Yeah.
What, that it won't work, or that a lot of people would say
that's what people will say, that it won't work.
Yeah, it's more opposition about it working or not working.
I'd gladly drive like 2 hours so I don't have to do that, honestly.
So I don't have to set up?
Yeah, I enjoy going to clubs where I don't have to help set up. It's kind of nice, actually.
Well, what are those clubs that you don't have to help? I mean, you're going to help tear down regardless, right?
Yeah, tear down, but like when I go to out-of-town clubs, not local to me, usually all those other clubs set up the day before or way in advance. So when you roll in the morning of, it's already ready to go. We just have the Anomaly Club in the area that sets up the day of.
Yeah, that's always a shit show when people do that.
We've got,
It really is.
To be honest, like
we've
that
got
doesn't-
like 2 clubs that set up the day of, and we've got 2 other clubs. Well, one's a couple hours south of Matt and I that they set up like a week in advance or whatever. I mean, the range is all just for like practical shooting stuff.
Yeah,
So,
we
which is really cool. I mean, it's you show up there at 7:30. If there's 6 or 8 guys ready to go on a squad at 8 o'clock, you're out shooting, which is pretty cool. So, and you don't tear it down either. I mean, it's like you come in, you shoot, and you leave. So
it's awesome.
So
Yeah.
would you pay extra for that sort of experience?
I would definitely.
So we just need to find some match directors who want to work like for profit. Yeah, get the ball rolling. You're not opposed to it?
No, I like it. I think it would add to the sport too.
Well, do you guys think there's a difference between for-profit locals and for-profit majors? Do you see difference in quality is what I'm asking? Like a double tap versus a whatever random major that's not for profit. Do you see a difference in quality?
So like a double tap versus an area match?
Yeah,
Areas are supposed to not make profit.
Or even Cowtown, even versus like Cowtown, right? Like I don't know that was a for-profit match.
What do you think, Hopkins? You shoot those matches. Is there a difference?
Just from a strictly match standpoint, no. Entry fees are basically the same. Stages are basically the same. Some have their own flavor or whatever, but you know that going in. RO is the same. Staff is good. I mean, they both provided water so far.
So that's interesting. That double tap is specifically that is a for-profit match, right? Like they fly the flag, like this is for-profit.
Well, yeah, but the match director didn't. I mean, he owns the property and stuff. So
no, there's nothing shady going on. I'm just saying, like that's
right,
for-profit,
exactly.
and there's no problem getting ROs to volunteer for that, right?
Didn't seem to be. Didn't seem to be a bit.
He takes care of the ROs though too.
Yeah. I mean, if you take care of the ROs enough, I'm sure they won't have a problem doing that.
Yeah.
All right.
There's
What about
a definite area there where, like, if you don't give them enough, they won't want to do it. But if you give them too much, I don't think you can ever probably do that. You won't make as much money, I guess, right?
Yeah. I mean, I guess not. All right. Well, whatever. So, what's your takeaway from this sort of like for-profit conversation, Hopkins? You want to see more for-profit matches at the club level, or no?
Yeah, I think that'd be a good thing.
I do too. I think it'd be a good thing. And then what we
And
talk
the
about?
worst case, they get charging too much. You can just not go. Vote for it with your money.
Well, how much more would they have to charge?
To do like a setup before?
Yeah, I don't even know.
Well, I know the one.
Maybe?
Yeah, see, I know the club down south of us is what, $15 to shoot. And like I said, you don't set up, you don't tear down. It's all done for you.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be opposed to paying even 20 or even $25 to go down and shoot it. I mean, the stages are always quality stages. I don't know. I mean, I don't have an issue with it.
If there was a 6-stage local match that I didn't have to set up or tear down, I'd pay up to $25 to shoot that.
Yeah, I would too.
Every weekend.
Every weekend.
Yeah, why not?
Because you have other things to do sometimes?
Well, if I'm in a major, that's way different. But and I don't shoot in bad weather either.
No, you just call ahead to the match director and change your shooting day, right?
If it's possible. I've been looking at Arkansas's weather this weekend. We'll see.
No, that's excellent. Well, that's good. Anyways, it was an interesting conversation online, mostly because guys are like, there's so much resistance to for-profit matches. And I'm kind of reading as people are posting, like, no, there isn't. And you start thinking about it, and it's like, it sounds pretty fucking cool. Like, basic. So we can have a whipping boy that's paid to set up the matches, and then you can bitch all you want afterward, and it's fine. And that guy's probably not going to burn out as fast because he's getting paid.
Well, it's incentive.
I think that's the big thing, right?
If you have no incentive to do something, you're going to put that shit on the back burner and probably never ever do it.
Well, right now,
or you're going to give it just the absolute least amount of effort.
Well, people's incentive right now is like to be the badass who's in charge of something. right?
Well, if you gave them a money thing, that'd be
That shit gets
more,
old.
right?
Right? Like it kind of you. I went to an autocross event once where like the director of that, like I'm just thinking like, what the fuck? Like who would want to do this for like nothing? They do all this bullshit to set this thing up, and then the guy's grabbing a bullhorn and shouting at people. I'm like, oh, like that's the sort of personality type that this bullshit attracts. And I don't think it's a whole lot different in shooting sports.
And that's why you get burned out and quit.
What? Autocross?
Well, that's
Are
why
they-
I got burned out and quit. Yeah, I couldn't stand it. There's always got to be one or two guys that they want to be the safety steward or the guy that wants to grab the bullhorn and yell at everybody and
Yeah, why do they have a problem with you squealing your tires or whatever?
What?
No,
I have no
seriously.
Issue?
What's that?
That's a real life issue.
Yeah, they gave a guy a talking to for like sliding his car around on a course, which I thought was pretty fun to watch, but
Oh yeah.
that guy didn't like it. I don't know.
Isn't that the fast way?
I guess. I don't know.
That's not the fast way, but yeah, it's the fun
Tokyo
way.
Drift.
Tokyo Drift, dog. He was too fast and too furious for that course. That's what it was. All right, well, fuck it. Let's move on to some shooting questions. This one's for you, Hopkins. This guy's looking at, I don't know why he emailed this to me. Maybe he thought it would get to you. But looking at a CZ SPO1 Shadow and a PO1 Accu Shadow with a short reset trigger, do you think the Accu is worth the extra coin? Hopkins, you're the CZ expert. Is the Accu Shadow with the short reset trigger? How much more money is that?
I think it's between $200 and $300 upgrade.
Just for the bushing, though, right?
That's just the bushing only, yeah.
And then the trigger's what?
The short resets maybe a few hundred, like between 1 and 2, I think.
So
But that can be put on any gun, so that's kind of a moot point. Like
No,
if
it's
the
not.
if the dude wants a short reset trigger, he can have that put on a regular Shadow.
he's just asking you if it's worth the extra money, Holmes. That's all he wants to know.
I think it depends, dude. If you're shooting USPSA only or Steel Challenge only, when our average shot is less than 15 yards, I don't think it's
The
actually
average shot?
Well, should I say less than 10 yards then?
Yeah, for some matches, you ought to say like less than 7.
Well,
The ones that Tim sets up.
we're not talking about the Austin Hose Fest.
That's too far.
Dude, it's too far.
When you call it the hose fest, man, it's got to be 5 yards and in. No hardcover, no shoes. No leans either.
No lean.
No leans.
That
How
double
about-
tap was too hard with all the leans.
Shadow would not be needed at that.
All right, so it depends on for
If
for
you're
you.
going to shoot Bianchi, dude, I think baggy Shadow is a must.
I strongly suspect this guy's not shooting Bianchi with it.
Well, if you want to have the most badass gun out there, get an Accu Shadow.
He's asking if it's worth the extra money. This guy doesn't want to
You
be a
can determine
badass.
that.
He's just very humbly asking you if it's worth the extra money.
And in your very professional and humble opinion, is it worth the extra money over an SPO1?
Hopkins, I feel like
Shadow.
you want to say no, but something's stopping you.
I don't know what you mean by that.
All right, Tim Herod, what do you think? Worth the extra money?
I'm going to say no. I don't think it's worth the extra money.
But it's better. I read that somewhere.
it's
I don't know.
it's better. I don't know. And shooting with Matt Shreds with a freaking, a non-Accu SPO1. It's obviously not needed.
It's what? It's not needed.
It's not needed.
Dude, you don't even need a CZ. You can do pretty well with the SIG 320, right?
Damn right. Exactly.
Tim Myers, is it worth it or not?
Yes and no. So I think what you need to do is bypass that thing, go to the long slide Shadow, and then Accu Shadow that thing.
The
And now we're talking.
CTS Accu.
Hopkins, can you fill us in on this new?
There
this
we
new
go,
gun?
dude.
What is it?
CTS LSP. It's the 75 frame.
I'm sorry. How many letters is in that sumbitch again?
Doesn't matter. CTS LSP.
Cut to the quick. How much money is it?
I don't know.
Is it better than a stock 2?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so this is like a must buy.
Oh no. Okay, it would be equal to a Lim Pro actually. It would be going against like a Lim Pro.
I don't understand.
It's got a short rail on it with a long slide.
Okay,
So it would be going against a Limb Pro, not a stock 2.
but it's not bushed.
It's not bushed, no.
All right, well, that's totally uninteresting. Thanks for bringing up more guns I don't give a shit about, Hopkins.
Hey, but longer's
That was
better.
Tim Myers, dude.
Longer's better.
I didn't bring it up.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Tim Myers, shut the fuck up for a second.
That extra 3/4 of an inch is the shit, dude.
Hey, ask your wife. It makes a difference.
I'd have to agree with Tim then. You need the CZBR 549er.
I think you do not need an AccuShadow, and the money is better. You are better served spending the extra money on ammo or going to a match or something, unless
training.
Yeah, go get some training from Hopkins. He'll show you how to shoot a regular CZ properly.
Batman or Robin.
Yeah, exactly.
Batman and Robin.
Batman and Robin, baby.
Yeah, for the money you'll save, you can afford to get both Batman and Robin.
There you go.
Or you can get the gun production optics ready.
Shut up, Tim.
The caveat to that, if you have shitloads of money, then who gives a shit? Just buy the AccuShadow. Yeah, shit, buy 2 of them. Why not?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or if you're really serious about the sport, so we're talking like you want to go, compete at area or national matches, or you want to have the best possible thing, both in theory, that you don't want to leave anything on the table, then fucking buy it. But if you're not doing any of that shit, who cares? All right, does that sound fair, Hopkins?
Yeah,
Answer with that. All right.
I personally don't use an AccuShadow.
Well, you should have just said that.
That wasn't the question. You said, was it worth it?
Well, obviously you think no, right?
Yeah, well, I don't think it's needed in USPSA. Well, I'll leave it
obviously.
answer about that.
Obviously you don't think it's needed, because if you thought you needed it, you'd have one, because you're a reasonable guy.
Yeah, if I thought I needed it, I'd have one. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, at a sectional I just shot, I did pretty well for myself. Lots of dry fire leading up to the match. And I had only 1 no-shoot penalty for the entire match. My accuracy was way better than usual. I shot more deliberate, but it didn't show its full effect on my score. Before I shot wildly, hosed, and maybe hit an alpha and a Charlie near the edge. At this match, it was still an alpha Charlie, but it was missing the A by 1 or 2 inches all freaking day. How do you clean up shooting that extra bit at speed? Or will it just start to come with time?
Jimmy, you got an answer for this one?
Tim
Yeah,
Myers.
I'd like to hear Tim Myers' answer on this first.
Tim Myers, how do you clean up your accuracy?
I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that out. I'm gonna be honest with you.
All right, Tim Herron, maybe you've got an answer.
You've got to. I mean, you've got to focus on the hits first and foremost. That's it. I mean, accuracy
Well,
has to.
that's not really an actionable answer.
Okay.
Is it just going to come with time? Will it just get better?
I don't think it'll just get better. You've got to work on it.
I'm kind of inclined to agree with that. You got to work on it, right?
Yeah.
It's simple. You got to go faster in your practice and then get better hits doing it. You got to get used to going that fast and then being accurate at it. You can't practice going real deliberate or whatever, or going slow and then expect to speed up at all. You got to fucking speed up. You're going to fucking train wreck for a while, but you'll eventually be able to fucking get there.
Damn, Hopkins. You're on fire today.
It's just the truth.
Yeah,
It's real simple. I mean, if you want to go faster, go faster.
Yes. I think part of, obviously, yeah, you have to practice to get better. I don't think it's going to get better just on its own. But you guys are making a good point. You got to go fast. I think a lot of the times in matches, if you decide, like, hey, now I'm just going to, when you're going to practice one way where you're really focused on the time, shooting, you kind of score the targets, and you're like, oh, I dropped a few Charlies or whatever, but I'm going fast. And then you think, well, I go to a match, I'll just be really deliberate. I think you should try practicing a little bit, thinking that way, where it's like, hey, I'm going to just shoot like I would in a match, where I'm going to, shoot my pace, shoot my match pace, but then just try and get as many alphas as I can. I think you can learn a lot from doing that. Is that clear, Hopkins? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I say it a little differently, but one of the things I like to do is like, how would I run this in a major match, and then run it that way. Like, take it out. Like, say this little practice segment is a major match stage. How would I run it at that major match?
So let's say you're shooting El Pres.
Yeah.
Okay, so if like your personal record, like the fastest time you can throw down on that,
3.2
probably.
seconds.
What's that? 3.2 seconds, right? Okay. But what I'm saying is, there's like a fastest possible time you can hang hits on paper.
That makes no sense to me.
There's a time that you can like kind of push, and like occasionally you'll get a really good hit factor, and occasionally you'll really fuck up. Then there's probably shooting as many A's as you can, and you'll still drop some Charlies, right? Then there's a time associated with that. And then there's like guaranteed all alphas, which is probably really slow, and you probably still don't get all alphas anyway, right?
Right.
So there's a lot of different mindsets you can approach the same drill.
Yeah.
So there's one for major matches, which would look like what for you on El Pres? Like what would you be thinking going into that stage at a major match?
I want to be able to see in my sight for sure.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be going fucking balls to the wall crazy on it.
What would you be thinking, like in terms of the time? What would you be thinking? Would you be focused on that or not?
I wouldn't really care, but I figured it'd be around 5.5 to 6, probably closer to 6.
Right. So you mean you have all of this in your head stored up from all these like.
Yeah.
And I think maybe the guy asking this question, this is the sort of thinking that he's lacking, right? It's like balls to the walls, or kind of shooting deliberately, and there's a lot of nuance to it, maybe.
Yeah, I'd say there's definitely a lot of in between, and to me that's where you got to work on. I mean, you got to be able to find that medium.
Yes. Tim Myers, how fast did you shoot El Pres in a major match?
If I'm going for the stage win, it's going to be all out, man. I'm not going to lie to you.
Is there any other way you shoot a stage like that?
I've been trying to control the beast a little. I'm not going to lie, but
The beast.
We haven't seen an El Pres at double tap though. That would be interesting.
I would let loose, man. I'm not going to lie.
Tim,
Would you lay down a 4-second El Pres, Tim?
Probably faster than that.
Tim, can I tell the story? Can I tell the story of down the middle?
Yeah. Oh man.
Oh my God.
I thought I had it.
Dude, what? It's funny. Can I tell him?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Oh my God, it's so good. So
It's true.
at my section match last year, one of the classifiers was, or the classifier for the match was down the middle, where if you're not familiar with it, there's 4 zebra hard-covered targets where it's up to the A zone on either side is hard-covered, and they're out there far enough away there's a real possibility of a miss. So, like, Tim, I shot the stage before Tim, and Tim's shit talking me all day. He's like, I got that stage stagger. I fucking got it. So I shot like a reasonable pace. I didn't shoot it as like very fast. I just shot it reasonably and didn't miss anything. And
That was still like 100%.
Well, whatever. But Tim rolls up there and he's like, wow. He's like, I gotta throw it down now. And he shot it in like the low. It's
like a 320.
Like low threes, like 8 shots at those things, and the range officer's like, holy shit. I mean, that was like a second faster than everybody else. And he just like, the guy couldn't believe it. Tim rolls down there to score him, and he still finished like 3rd on the stage in production, I think, even with his misses.
Yeah, how many
I had. So the best part is I get to the very back target and I have 2 hits. I'm like, shit, yeah. And then we get to the second from the back and I had a damn hardcover hit. I was like, oh, my dreams were crushed. I had one mic on it.
What was amazing is Tim was shit talking the whole way up to the line to load his gun. He shoots the stage, unloads it, and the shit talking starts immediately. He loads it one at a time, and he's like, boom, you hear that stagger? You hear that shit? And I was like, oh my God. And I'm thinking, like, if he hung them all in the A zone, this is really one of the few times I'm going to root against my bro. But I'm like, if he hung them all in the A zone, I'm never going to hear the end of this shit ever. So I'm like,
you never would have heard the end of it.
Please have a miss. And thankfully, God granted me a miss. No, I don't think there was any divine intervention in Tim getting a miss. I think that's just how it goes sometimes.
I had to go for it, man.
Dude, I mean, the fact that you thought you had to go for it is that's the most amusing part.
I did it on the next stage too. I think I went for it, and I think I had.
The next stage was the chrono, and you were shit talking me because you're like, I got a high power factor. I won the
He did
chrono.
the same shit to me at Double Tap.
What do you do? You shit talking about the chrono?
Man's loads, all this fucking bullshit.
No, we had a bet who could guess their power factor, and I was closest.
He was so lucky. He has no clue.
I'm just really good at reloading.
Oh well, that's another fine episode. So, thank you for tuning in, folks. If you want to talk to Hopkins, go to hopkinsshooting.com. He'll talk to you. If you want to talk to Tim Herron, go to hopkinsshooting.com. You can get in touch with him there. If you want to talk to Tim Myers, email shopping@benstegerproshop.com. Even if you address the email to me, you'll still get Tim. And he won't correct you as to who you're talking to. That is a true story. And if you want me, go to bensteger.com and send me your shooting questions. We'd love to answer them for you on the show. So thank you so much for listening.